A strategy is something that helps us align, it helps us to look at a point in the future of where we want to be, okay? And helps us to have something to aim for, yeah? And again, whether this is in business or personal life. And once you've decided upon this goal, it then helps you to, to align your day-to-day behaviors to achieve that goal. Yeah? So you can visualize what the future looks like, and then that will help you then visualize the steps in between, and then it will help you then align your day-to-day stuff to achieve that goal. Yeah? That's kind of what we mean by a strategic plan. Without a strategic plan, your day-to-day behaviors are probably just aligned to whatever is actually reinforcing you on that day. Yeah? Because if the purpose of a strategic plan is to have that goal and then to help you align your day-to-day behaviors to that goal, without one, if you haven't got one, without my 5-year plan, I was living every day as it came almost. I was reinforced by what happened to me on that day. And this can be referred to as blind faith. So having a strategy is a good idea, but it's also something that a lot of us struggle with. But why do we find it so hard? What is it about setting a strategy or being strategic or even setting that 5-year plan that we find hard? If we know it's a good thing, and if we had a show of hands, I'm sure people would agree that, yeah, having a strategy is probably a good idea. Well, behavioral science can help explain why this is. Okay, so we can use the science to work out why we're maybe not doing this or why we're not doing it as well as we could, what's stopping us. So we first look at the kind of science aspect, okay? Is we'll avoid things that take extra time and effort, yeah? And we'll avoid things that probably in the short term cost us money, try and save money in the short term. But definitely the time and effort part, these punishers, yeah, there's something must be getting in the way. If we're not doing something, and yet we know it's good and we have an understanding of what we should be doing, the science tells us that there must be punishers in play, yeah? And the converse of that, the opposite side, is that therefore there must be something that's reinforcing us instead of doing the thing that we're meant to be doing. Okay, so we're doing stuff now, today, to get us a short-term result at this moment in time. And doing something now, today, to get us something in the future, well the science tells us that that's not going to work either. Yeah? Because the consequences, as John said before, if they're delayed, they're not strong. So we're driven towards the stuff that makes it reinforcing for us to do stuff on that day. So if we look at the component parts, and I suppose there's only really 2 parts to a strategy. Having a goal and then working out how you get to that goal, okay? Simple, but massively complex. Deciding on the goal, okay, so could that be punishing? Is it punishing to actually decide on a goal itself? Well, if you've ever tried to imagine what the future looks like, okay, so just now, just drift off 2 years down the line, whether it's in your business or whether it's in your personal life, and imagine you sitting there, yeah, retired, maybe 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, yeah, supping wine and doing whatever it is. This is at work, by the way, not but it's actually, it's more difficult than you think to try and imagine what it actually physically looks like. And sometimes when we try and imagine this, we think, oh, that's just a pipe dream. Yeah, why? Yeah, there's no, I can't do that. And you rationalize it out all of a sudden. It may be that, well, it's most probably going to involve other people as well, this vision of the future. Yeah? And have they got the same vision as you, especially if it's at work? Okay, so you're going to probably have to go and speak to someone to find out what their version of the future looks like as well. And we know that we don't like speaking to folk. Yeah? So there's another punisher in the way. It's going to take time and effort. Yeah? You're doing stuff, we've already said, you're doing stuff today that's reinforcing. Taking the time out to actually go and imagine what good looks like, what the future looks like, again, it's another barrier, another thing in place that's maybe stopping you from doing it just now. So here's a list of things to try to dilute these punishers. Enlist help. Yeah, whether it's a personal strategy or whether it's a work strategy, it's going to involve someone else. So discuss what this vision looks like. Yeah. Make purposeful space in your diary, because what you're doing today, those behaviors that are reinforcing you doing your day-to-day stuff just today, isn't the stuff that's helping you set the strategy. So set time aside. Set yourself a deadline. Yeah. Get out of the office, the house, yeah, whatever environment you're in just now, and go into a different environment to help you kind of, come up with something new, help you visualize what this future looks like, the new future. Maybe 5 years is too much. What about 2? Break it down. It's okay to start with results. Okay, well, let's think. I want to be 10% more profitable. I want to cut accidents by 50%, maybe 63% increase in customer service or whatever it is. As long as you don't just end up sticking with those results and that's it. Because if you just manage by results, then you could get whatever behaviors at whatever cost in your business or in your personal life as well. So as long as you're filling the gaps with the results. And what do you want more of and what do you want less of? That's a really good way to kind of think about what you want for the future, whether it's in business. Write anything down and come back to it later and then share it. Share it with the people that you enlisted help with in the first place. Yeah. So just a few things to try and dilute those punishers. The next part, the plan to achieving your goal or your vision. And actually, this is probably even harder than the first part of delivering your goal, deciding upon your goal. Just stating more is not going to get you, the end result. Just stating you want to lose a stone, if it is a stone you want to lose, is not going to get you that desired result. You have to fill in the gaps. Yeah? You have to put in place the steps to get to that goal. Another tool that can help you do this is the shaping process. So another behavioral tool that we use, the shaping process. You can use this, if you like, in reverse. So you know the goal, so you can use reverse shaping to get you from where you are just now to the end goal. What does good look like? Yep, in 2 years, 5 years' time. Where are you just now? And what are the steps in between? You have to look at these goals and make sure the goals are aligned, that your sub-goals are aligned, that your sub-strategies are all aligned. And this all takes time and effort. It takes masses of effort to kind of map this all out. Again, loads of punishers that are in place. So what does it look like? What does it look like to have small goals that lead to a big goal? So how do you break this trap? How do you get out of this? How do you make strategic reinforcing? Because so far, we've just talked about how punishing it is. Well, there isn't a silver bullet. There's nothing other you can do other than set the strategy in the first place to keep your day-to-day behaviors online. So you are going to have to, if you agree that strategic is the right thing to do, set aside time and effort. Yeah? Try and dilute those punishers to actually set aside the time and effort to decide upon your goal and then decide upon the steps that lead to that goal. And then look at how the component parts of the business then join together. You're going to have to spend the time and effort to crystallize your vision, to involve others, to crystallize those steps. Once you've done that, once you have the strategy and you're happy with it and other folk are aligned to it and everything and that time and effort has been spent, the benefit to that is your day-to-day behaviors will then be aligned to you delivering your strategy because you've spent that time and effort in doing it. You now have it in your head about what the future looks like. You now know that what you're doing today will give you the long-term result because actually you've defined all your sub-goals, your monthly reports, and everything is aligned to deliver that strategy. But if you haven't spent that time in actually defining it, defining what the vision is, defining what the goal is, then your day-to-day behaviors will still be back in just whatever's reinforcing you just now. So the strategic paradox, being strategic will only be reinforcing if you have a strategy. The key is working out what is stopping you and how you get started. Thank you.